So today, all right. So hope you all got your second cup. I got mine. So we're gonna do today. We were talking about. We want to talk about our positioning and our laning and like where to make sure we're in the right position and we're not losing or we're not putting ourselves in a bad place to start or to continue the game. So I'm gonna pick the first game we played when we played at Shiv, only because this lane was more even. I took a look at the one we just played at Viscus, and we dominated that lane, so it's not worth going into. This one's a little closer, where each McGinnis and myself got 13 last hits, and we lost. We lost the last hit battle, we lost the soul battle, we lost the kill battle. We ended up winning the game. So I want to take a look at this one, kind of watch through our landing stage and see where things went wrong, where we could have gotten better, go from there. All right, so we're gonna shift and play. We're gonna play it at 1.5 speed. So here we are. I'm going plane speed. So I guess like the first start. So we got pushed out pretty early, quickly. And remember the Mina was tough on us. So let's see. All right, I forgot. This game is the weird. I don't like how the game does that. So if you remember, so let's watch. Let's take a peek here. Every, hold on. Controls. The controls are killing me. So I want to zoom. All right. So I'm going to zoom out here. So let's take a look at this current setup. So I've been pushed back. You can see me. I'm hiding in the back there, probably getting some items. Now let's take a look at our overall positioning. We can kind of almost draw a line, and I can't really do it with the annotation tool. I should probably do that. Make that note of that. Like you can almost see the line. It's like a straight line from starting from this board, the corner of that board there, across to that one there, where we essentially shouldn't cross. They've dominated up to that point. If we go across, we're going to get caught off. So let's continue to watch here. So you see me in the back there trying to defend it. The Minas continues to push us. Really wish you could move the camera when it was paused. That's a real bummer. But so let's continue to move in here. We just see again they're just positioning on us. They're keeping us out of the game. Let's increase the speed. 2x. So again, they continue to push us. There was the first kill. First kill was right there, and of course it was on me. So let's go back a little bit. Make our way. Bring this down to normal speed. All right. So we wanted to push back. And we're about to make our first. We're about to die right here. So this was a mistake we made. Well, I wouldn't have. So here's a just an unfortunate circumstance. So let me see if we can back just a little. All right, so we see us. So our positioning's okay. Like we're chilling. We're trying just to stay alive because we're low. We don't want to go back just yet. Except we didn't want to go back. We didn't want to play around. We didn't want to waste time. So now, what we should have done is we kept our eyes on um, the creeps in the Mina. We lost track of the Apollo, and the Apollo was able to get the advantage on us. because he knows we're low, and he's low too. He's taking a risk here too. And if we remembered that he was there, we could have taken advantage of that. But because of that, so the Apollo pushes us out. We also should have realized that. We also should have realized that. We also should have. So when the Apollo comes around, and wants to and jumps us, we should have also remembered that the meter was there. Now this was a successful gang. Like this happens. This is only something that over experience you'll end up learning and fighting against. But this was a position where we were in a bad spot. Like we didn't do anything wrong. They pushed on us. We should have either retreated fully and waited for the next wave to come and save us and give us a little more protection, or the answer is never to feed. Um, I know sometimes you'll hear people say that. I don't think it's a smart play, but we'll continue to watch. And because of the Apollo making the gank, he's able to use his resources and watch. He pushes us out. The Mina takes advantage of that. Bam, dead shiv. Now, let's see if the McGinnis, because I can get to watch this. We were dead. So the McGinnis, let's see. Right, she's able to make it, so she holds her own. Apollo jumps away. I make my way back yellow. Apollo got away, and we move on. So let's up the speed. I want to see something real quick. Let's see. I thought I saw like there was a. Those aren't helpful. Oh, okay. Oh, equal minus. Okay. We're gonna bring in speed just so I can follow. Okay. So now we take this advantage. So what we're able to do here, we are able. So we took the hit, we took the loss. Now we're going to change the momentum. We know they're low. We now know this Mina has been left alone. You know, the Apollo has left us, so now we can take advantage of this. So we do, and we try to push in and now create the same thing on our side. But notice the creeps. We lost our creeps. We need to back up. We do, but they've pushed the line. Our creeps are coming. Continue to speed up here. We see Apollo's now in the small camp. So they've just put this continuous pressure on us, and we're not necessarily in bad positions. We're just trying to stay alive. Like, we're just trying to stay alive here. So that was a point where I tried to take advantage of this Mina. She was out of position, trying to push something now, trying to create something out of nothing now. Here's the lesson here. I shouldn't have made that play. Why? Because notice, there's no creeps. There's no support at all. There's one creep on each side. It's a range. They have a med creep. We have a range creep. So if they get that creep, they're gonna get more health. That gives them an advantage. Armina, yeah, the Mina's kind of out of position, and we've exposed her. But I also have no help now. I can maybe this McGinnis will help me, but I can't rely on the McGinnis. You can't rely on your team all the time. You have to have an exit or a way that you can handle it yourself. So I forget what happens here exactly. I think I went in. I think I ended up just leaving. Yeah. So we pushed out. We were able to create that space, get the next wave of creeps. McGinnis is able to get her turret. That's starting to move things in our direction. And we just continue to harass. So, let's we're gonna pause. Miss a knife. That's a bar for me. So this is what I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have gone in there. There was no need for me to go in here. There was just no need for me to make my way in here because it ends up costing me. So I back out. McGinnis does the heal. Now, that's map awareness right there. Like, I thought the door was there. Now, maybe if the theory could be made that if I hit the door right, I would have been able to make it out. But let's be real, probably not. And I end up sacrificing. It's a bummer. I think we end up losing McGinnis here as well. Oops. Oh no! So McGinnis was able to get that. McGinnis gets the parry. McGinnis is then able to push the lane out. They're able to stay alive a little bit more, and they use the ball defensively. I'm gonna speed this up. So the lane's starting to even out. We get a couple more last hits. We start to push them in. They start to push in. I mean, because again, remember they end up winning this lane overall, and we can see why. They've spent the majority of the time on our on our half of the bridge, to the point where we never even got a chance, or like our only hope. And now this is just unfortunate. Tonight, Mina gets away. Yeah, bummer. Like, bummer. So now we should be taking advantage of this opportunity. We pushed one amount of lane. We're trying to get the pushing the lane now. We're now up there. We're a little stronger at this point, so I think we end up holding our own a little bit better here. But let's see. I forget. All right, so not too bad. We got out of there a little bit. I don't. Yeah, I almost died at one point. I remember this part. We ended up saving up, not dying. I think this is when the lane starts to end. The stage starts to end normally because we're trying to get that 10-minute mark. Let's make our way. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, the last second she got away. That I remember that hurt. So Apollo's gone missing for a while, and I think he left the lane at this point. Yeah, I think he moved on from laning stage. So now moving into that mid game portion, you see Apollo's abandoned the lane to leave Mina. And I think this is when we start to take it. That was unfortunate. So we should have realized at this point that Mina was alone and pushed harder. Like, so this was an opportunity where if we had realized that the Apollo was missing and he wasn't going to come back, we should have been more aggressive. We should have pushed a lot harder. We should have really put a lot of pressure on this Mina to get her back to try and get that tower. And instead we fell back, which is unfortunate. And that's game sense. That's stuff that comes with time and just experience. And kind of reading the game, but we should have realized that Apollo wasn't coming back. He'd been gone for at least a minute at this point, well past his depth. He's given up to he's gone to farming because he feels like he lost the lane. He doesn't know he won the lane. I think I end up leaving. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like because we didn't pressure that Mina, she ended up taking the lane. So because we didn't push that Mina enough, like she ended up taking the lane. We should have pushed her. Like we should have pushed better. Um, we should have pushed on her, especially when we realized that Apollo wasn't there. Uh, especially like Apollo, he he had fed twice. I mean, he hadn't fed at all. He'd been 2 assists. He had a little bit of gold. He needed more, so he had ran to the jungle. You should have taken advantage of that moment and then pushed on the Mina, who was she was ahead of yeah, she was significantly ahead of us in levels. So we should have pushed on her to try and take away her levels and make her game a little tougher. But we didn't. But it ended up working out in the end. Luckily, it ended up working out in the end where we ended up winning the game anyway. And I think that might have just been our heroes might have made that easier. Especially if we look at souls collected. At that 10-minute mark, it was pretty even, roughly. 49-51. Uh, and it wasn't until that 20-minute mark where the game started to get away. And that's one thing I've also been noticing in a lot of my games. Is around the 10-minute mark, things are pretty even, and they start to separate around the 15, anywhere between the 15 to 20 minutes. So that's where your game starts to really evolve. That's where your carries are going to separate if they're able to get a good stage. It's where your supports are able to hopefully catch up if they fall behind, and then it just spirals. Like we see, we're just spirals. I mean, at 10 minutes, look, we started around 10 minutes. The Mina she had 12% of the total farm. Period. Uh, Apollo, he had been completely robbed, even though he had gotten 2 assists. He didn't have much. We didn't have much either, so it didn't really help out. The McGinnis, we were able to help the McGinnis in terms. They were luckily able to get ahead, but again, like the top four is carries and even support. The Rem was higher than us, so we had some work to do. It ended up working out again, and I think it was partially because of the Wraith. I think the Wraith is really strong, or can be. Look at how her um, souls went. Like all of a sudden, she is spiked. Like around that 15 20 minute mark, she spiked, and you'll see like that's where the game was decided. Like the Mina started to take off, and unfortunately, the rest of her team couldn't catch up. They all fell behind while we continued to rise up, and it sucks that we ended up bringing down the bottom. But oh well. Shiv's tough. He's a cleanup carry. Like he's all about that cleanup kind of deal. So, oh well. All right. Well, look for the second cup segment. Uh, I try to get these up on Mondays on YouTube on our YouTube. So if you want to rewatch this, watch our lesson. Like I said, um, yeah. So that's what we wanted to focus on today was all of our laning positioning, and we did okay, and we won, especially since we ended up winning that first one, and luckily it was because of the late game. And the second game, we ended up, yeah, I think we ended up. It was more even, right? If I remember it. Yeah, yeah. No, it wasn't more. We dominated. Like, we were able to dominate. We were able to get a lot more last hits. We were able to do a lot more damage, but we ended up losing the game. And yes, around the 15, 20 minute mark. All right, even earlier actually. This game started to take off right at the 10-minute mark is where it started to really fall off, and part of it is me because yeah, they just look at you can just see like our entire team was just under, 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 and like when that happens, there's no way you're gonna win. Like There's just no way. Is it? I mean, part of it's the Lesh just dominated with kills, making that space, making those opportunities. But what are you gonna do there? All right, well, that's it for today's brunch breakfast boy. I know was a little shorter. Like I said, we've had a lot of snow here in the Northeast, so we've been digging up. It's been tough. Today's the first day we were able to finally get stuff done. But keep your eyes on the stream. There's a good chance tomorrow we might do a bonus stream since next week we won't be available. Keep an eye out for our second cup segments as they appear on YouTube and as different videos for you guys to watch. Thank you all for hanging around. Don't forget to hit that follow button. Always appreciative, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time.